with millions of videos uploaded to the platform every single day, some have to be good, some have to be bad, and well, some just have to be weird, right? Well, today we're gonna find out. Today, we're gonna plunge back into the depths of the ocean again, because today, we'll be discussing the most weirdest YouTube videos Iceberg. Hello and welcome back to the hole in the wall. I was originally gonna make this video about the Generation Z Iceberg, but after getting a bit way of the ways through, I just couldn't connect with everything on that iceberg, as some of the stuff I've seen, some of the stuff I hadn't, and I just really couldn't connect to it. But then I found the most weirdest videos Iceberg, and I just ended up instantly connecting to a lot of the stuff on the iceberg, because I grew up a lot with the internet horror side of YouTube, and not necessarily the standard Generation Z trauma. I think this iceberg will be pretty fun and very interesting. I'm gonna cut this video into layers because I just think it'll work better, and again I get to show more clips and everything, so this will be split up into about 8 parts since this is about a 9-layer iceberg, and then at the end I'll be putting it all together for one huge iceberg. So if you're interested in this iceberg, come along with me as we discuss the most weirdest YouTube videos Iceberg. Layer 1. Now this is the layer where, if you're familiar at all with YouTube, you've probably heard one or two of these before. They're like probably the most well-known horror and weird part of the iceberg that you'll probably see. Again, not all of this stuff on this iceberg is disturbing, but mostly at the top, it is very much most locally known horror content. When we get deeper in, that's when we get to the more obscure oddities of the internet. I feel fantastic. This was a music video released back in 2004 starring an unsettling robot singing an original song about them feeling fantastic. Though there were many theories made about this robot and its creator, even that they might have even been a killer, and that they were using the cloak from the victims of their crimes on the robot, it eventually would come out that the creator's name, Ron Bergen, would actually create both the robot and the song as part of his ever-growing music career. Cricket video. A UK YouTuber who started in 2006, best known for creating weird and bizarre, highly edited shorts. He was so well known that even McDonald's tried to steal a video of a dancing cow concept from him, but Cricket and his audience took note of that and called him out, causing McDonald's to pull the hat and to admit yes, they did steal the concept of the video from him. YouTube animated Kids and Elsagate controversy. Now this refers to a subgenre in YouTube which was compiled only of these odd, violent, and sometimes sexual videos targeted towards kids, where it would be certain anime characters, most likely Spider-Man and Elsa, getting to these like just odd scenarios. They were just very weird videos, mainly meant to just have kids click on the video, watch a couple of minutes, and then leave. And eventually got so bad that multiple YouTubers would call this out and actually force YouTube to completely change their rules and regulations so that wouldn't be this problem on the platform anymore. But sadly, it has come back in a very different way, where now there's new characters targeted towards kids, but because of course kids aren't using the YouTube Kids app as much as they would, now being able to target a completely different audience to completely new characters. Sidemouse.avi. Now this was a video released back in 2009 that showed a loop of Mickey Mouse walking down a street. But the video distorts and you can hear screaming behind it. Mickey Mouse is also being distorted, and starting to see this very sinister grin from him. This was originally released and then had a creepypasta made about the whole video, about how it was like a lost tape from Mickey Mouse's from Disney's catalog. And I don't know why people got so scared of this one back in the day. I don't know, I just don't find the animation or the creepypasta to have been originally very creepy, but people did. But luckily enough for us, there was actually people who came back and redid the whole entire animated short. Actually, Vibing Leaf now has a video released of an entire reanimated version of suicidemouse.avi. I would recommend you guys check out Chorizo videos. Now this was a channel started back in 2013 depicting these two colored squares moving around with a high ear-piercing sound in the background. A lot of speculation at the time as to what these were, as some people thought they were government codes, while others thought it might have been some sort of cult initiation, and the rabbit hole would eventually go even deeper as it was found out that Google owned the account. Now, funny thing was a couple of months later, Google would come out and say that no, these videos were to test the audio and uploading quality, audio and visual uploading quality that YouTube could have on the platform, and that's all it was. Yelling Creature. A video that was released back in 2006 which depicted a creature yelling no. But what it really was just a clay sculpture with the creator's face, Rob Herman, on it, edited onto it, and that would be the original video. SFM Gary's Mod animations. Now, Gary's Mod and SFM would take over the YouTube scene back in the day because of its just rampant inability to have people make these new animated projects without having much talent. You'll see a lot of these SFM and Gmod videos more down the pipeline, but again, it was just because everyone could make these animations. I mean, it made the world of animating just so much more easier. The duck song.
Walked up to a lemonade stand and he said to the man running the stand, "Hey, bump, 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 got any grapes?"
An animation created back in 2009 by Fire Force 101 that tells the story of a duck trying to get grapes from a man selling lemonade. This is probably one of the most wholesome videos I've seen in a while. I remember when this originally came out and it was just extremely wholesome. I'm sad it hasn't had a resurgence back in the world yet, but I'm hoping one day TikTok will find it, or no, maybe I don't want TikTok to find it. I feel like if TikTok found it, they would make it like weirdly, overtly sexual for some reason, or they would just make it extremely cringy. So I don't know. I'm heads or tails whether or not I want the duck song to be, revitalized in this modern era. How to basic videos. Now this was a channel that seems to be made of just normal tutorials, but it would actually come out, watching the videos for like any amount of time, you would realize that it was just this very quick videos where things would just go from 0 to 100 in just complete milliseconds, which made the videos fun. Again, the whole point of the channel was just to, be a satire of the tutorial genre, which I think it does amazingly well. Shrek is love, Shrek is life. Okay, so, you know how I said SFM was bad? Well, here you go. So this was a YouTube series that, I shit you not, was just a 50 Shades of Grey, but for Shrek-loving obsessed 4chan fans. Because this would actually start as a 4chan post, and then someone would go out and animate it, and then it got hugely popular because of how ridiculous and strange the concept was, and then the community would make more and more of these. There was actually, I think, 5 in total. Weirdly enough, it made itself into like a 30-minute watch. But also, doing research for this, I did find out that the music company Genius, which if you don't remember who that was who, made those funny live versions of those celebrities singing videos. They actually, for some reason on their website, have the full Shrek is Love, Shrek is Life, like 4chan post as like lyrics, which I don't know what to do about that. I just wanted to put this in here because I thought that was really, really weird. Hug of Wisdom. Now this would be another 3D animated video, but of a dog in a plane meeting the dog of wisdom. Now this would be created by the channel Joe, and it's just really cute. I don't know what to say. It's cute. For our final entry, this would be Obey the Walrus. Now originally I wasn't going to cover this as part of the video, but I decided to because I wanted to tell something that wasn't the video. I wanted to tell you guys about the story of the person who is in the video, as I believe the video itself is just a complete travesty to who the person was in life. The video would actually star Sandra Sadie Crisp, better known as Goddess Bunny.
Friends up in Canada, or Canada as some might call it, is like a local celebrity. I mean, everybody knows this lady. She is like, how would you describe yourself?
I'm a confused faggot with tits.
A confused faggot with tits. Well, there we go. There's a description.
What are you looking at me for? Am I getting confused
Well,
with tits too?
No, I was thinking that's...
I don't have tits.
I was actually looking down the whole list.
I can lead you a bit.
Yeah, I was just looking and thinking that's kind of what we all are.
Now, she would be an entertainer, drag queen, and model. Born in January 13th, 1960. She had a very hard childhood growing up. She contracted polio right after birth, which resulted in disfigurement because of malpractice from her doctors. And then following that, her parents got into a very lengthy divorce, which put her in foster care for many years, where she would just go through so much abuse because of not only her physical deformities, but of the fact that she was at the moment transitioning, which would lead her to both physical and sexual abuse. And then when the divorce was settled, she ended up living with her mother, but her mother was highly religious at the time. And again, remember, this was like the 1960s, where it wasn't as socially accepted to become to come out as trans. So mother basically would never call her by the name she wanted. After graduating, the story actually lightens up for the goddess Bunny, as when she graduated high school, she actually went out to go pursue her career in the entertainment industry. She actually landed her first role in 1968 as Charlene in the film Hollywood Vice Squad, and then become a member of the drag queen community, where she would get multiple connections within the movie industry, within the music industry. She would just become very, very popular, and she would eventually be given her own self-titled documentary, which would show the underground drag world in a very positive light. Now, this also comes with the origin of Obey the Walrus, as the clip that they use is such a... Again, as I said, the clip itself and, the clip itself is just so incredibly disappointing. Again, when you actually watch the real clip, it's just Goddess Bunny having fun, dancing, and just having a good time. When you actually watch the clip, it's very wholesome, it's very uplifting. I mean, the whole documentary was supposed to be about her, her struggles and the struggles of the drag community at the time. This was one of the first times that we would see the drag community in a very positive light. And to see how that clip just completely destroyed the legacy of that movie was just so disappointing. Now, sadly, she would die at the age of 61 due to COVID-19 in January 27th of 2021, but she was given her last wish by being buried in the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Now, there is so much more to her story, but I sadly cannot get into it here. There are some great video essays that go over her story a bit more. I might plan on doing a video essay about her life, but for what you need to know, she was a great and amazing person in life. She had a terrible childhood, but she got over it, and she was able to make an amazing life, meet amazing people, and be known by a lot of individual people. She would do great and amazing things when she was older, and from what I've read, she was just an amazing person. She was just the limelight of everyone's world, and it's just so disgusting that someone would make that video and try to tarnish that legacy, but in the end, lives on is her memory and how she made people feel, which was amazing. But this would be the end of part 1 of the weirdest YouTube videos Iceberg. Let's get into layer 2 of YouTube's most weirdest videos ever, Iceberg. Now this layer is where we're going to start seeing some of the more just flat out odd entries and not just horror entries. But again, we're still in layers where we're seeing a lot of these horror videos and horror elements in the considered weird category. But this is where we're also going to start seeing the just odder side of YouTube, an odder side of what people can create. And to start that off, let's start with the man who created the WTF animations, Meat Canyon. Now, if you haven't seen Meat Canyon, he is famous for creating these animated parodies of famous actor, movies, and animated characters, but more prominently animated characters. These would be created by Hunter August Hancock, and he would just make these characters being caricatures of either the times or a certain element or controversy or just something they're well known for, and just completely caricaturizing. That's not a real word, but it is now. These aspects and making them their own, his own, in these animated shorts. Again, they're very brilliant, they're very fantastic. He has even made his own series before. I think it was Monster Lab, which was pretty good. This is a special time commercial.
There's good reason for my glistening skin.
Now this would be an odd commercial of a man eating ice cream off of his body, looking directly into the camera and talking to him about how much he loves little baby's ice cream while looking directly into your eyes. Now this would be released back in 2012 by the Little Baby Ice Cream Company. I don't have any idea on who decided this was a good idea or who decided this should be promoted to kids, but whoever that was needs to be fired. Because not only did they make one, they made 3 of these. Yeah. Which means someone sat there, directed it, producer had to go, yep, that looks good, and then the studio's execs had to say, yep, that's fine. Why? I originally thought this might have been for like Halloween or something. No, it wasn't. It was just because.
My job. I love my life. When you eat little baby's ice cream, you'll wink and nod and hug and
M3 videos.
Monkey slave, come here. My grandma is dying and we need to go get some magic potatoes to save her.
Okay.
Now this would be a channel created back in 2016 that made rough 3D anime versions of famous cartoon characters and make them just kind of do really random things with a sort of synthesized robotic voice. You'll see this more in the bottom layers, but this is going to be a trend for a lot of these videos where it's just robotic voices along with weird animation. But for Pump3's videos, they're pretty good. Blank Room Soup.avi. Ooh, this one's a classic. So this would be an animated series of three to four videos of true people dressed in these very odd costumes. And of course the most known video would be 2 characters sitting in a room and this guy with a black bar around his eyes eating soup. Now there would be a lot of theories about what this video would be, as it was released back in 2005, and a lot of people would theorize that, oh, the man was being held captive, you know, that this was just a publicity stunt, that this is fake, this is real. But still to this day, there is actually no origin story to who made this video and why. There have been theories, again, that this was just fake, or, you know, maybe this was snuff. But truly, there has been so many people who have said it was fake, who said it's false, but there's no real answer to this one. This is just weird for weird's sake. Again, as I said, there's 3. The first one that is just the original Blank Room Soup, the second one that is the continuation of that first one, and then there's the third one of them in a room with the guy tied up. Now, these are weird videos, but these have been around for so long, I don't think we're actually ever gonna get an answer. Dining room or there is nothing. Now this would be an art project showing a woman sitting in a room saying there is nothing. The fire behind her, if you've been around for a while, you know what this video is, but what you might not know is that this was created by David B. Earl back in 2006, and it was meant to show that there is really nothing. That there is no beginning, there's no ending, there's nothing. Because technically, you can watch this video in a forward, or you can watch it in reverse, and it would be the same experience. As, again, the beginning of the video is a complete reversal of the ending. Henry Eats. Now, This would be a surreal horror video of these things eating each other. And the video would be created by Ben Wheel back in 2003. And there's not really a real explanation as to what's going on in the video. It would just sort of be weird just for weird's sake. He did actually create a video a year ago of the character of Henry, I'm gonna guess, watching everyone reacting to his video, but I don't know. It is just a weird video. It was created back in 2003, Mr. Davies MLP Animations. Now these I wouldn't originally have remembered, but then I watched them and I was like, oh, yep, I remember those. Now these animations would be created by Mr. Davey, who would put the characters of the My Little Pony in violent and disturbing scenarios, and the most known short would be, of course, Smile and Cupcake, which would be released back in 2012. I don't know why bronies are a thing. I don't know why this was created. Why do people like putting these scenarios? Now, he's not said on this Iceberg, but I kind of want to throw him in here because I think it fits really well with the MLP, but Diggity Demon.
I got my cutie mark, girls! Girls, where y'all going?
If you guys remember his shorts, his were also very violent and very weird, but his would actually have a through line where it would actually be a story in these videos, but they were also still very weird. If I have images of his videos, I think he took some of them down, but Hot Diggity Demon's videos, they were as violent, if not more, than Mr. Davies' MLP animations. I don't know why his isn't on there, but again, here, I'll throw it in. I think his was created definitely around that same time. I don't know why people like doing this to the My Little Pony characters. They just did, and I don't understand it even to this day. Username 666. Now this would be a YouTube creepypasta that started as a video back in 2008. And the story of the video would be that a YouTube employee would find the link address to the username to this account name, and he would go in and search up the video, and it wouldn't be originally anything until he refreshed a couple times, and well, the channel page would just get more and more disturbing until not being able to click off the account, and eventually he had to throw away his entire monitor. Now, of course, the video that went along with this is fake. It was created by a channel we'll be talking about more later on the Iceberg, but this would be, of course, one of his more well-known animated shorts that would spawn so many creepypastas and so many really interesting videos, and honestly, the video still holds up to this day. Even though, yes, it uses the old sprite of YouTube, it still, for me, holds up as a really creepy and animated version of something that, honestly, I wonder why YouTube never... Because, like, if you guys don't know, YouTube has, like, the Google thing where, like, if you click on it, sometimes there'll be, like, some little special animation or some little flash game. I don't know why they never did that for username 666, especially around the Halloween time. But, missed opportunity there, Google. The lasagna cat videos.
Happy birthday, big guy.
I'm not eating that.
Now, this would be a YouTube series that would make live-action Garfield comic strips, and it would later come out that these videos would actually be more of a satire to the growing popularity of the Garfield comics, as again, Garfield is a very, very lazy comic if you've ever read it, and they just decided to satirize the idea. And again, this would be very well known when they made the Our Sex Survey video, where it would just be this looped animation of the characters asking a question, and at the end of the video would be this like very weird and trippy short at the end, which would kind of explain the whole channel's existence. Racist Mario.
Holy shit! He's killing all the non-Nintendo racers!
What is he? Some kind of racist?
Now this would be an animated short created by Flash Grits, where Mario would be doing very racist, I guess. It was a metaphor for racism, Zootopia level racism. And he would go out and kill these characters just for being in the game, in the same game as him. And eventually he would even kill his own fellow characters. Pretty funny animation, and I still don't know how it hasn't been demonetized yet, but it's pretty funny. I suggest, if you like edgy humor, go give it a watch. Potato Nash's Official.
Potato Nash's. Potato Nash's.
Now this would be a 3 animated animation where a rat boy sings about potato gnashes. Now this would be released back in 2013 by Rat Boy Genius, who you will hear a lot more of him down later on the Iceberg. But honestly, even though the animation's rough, it's actually not bad of a melody, and I don't actually hate the music in the actual animation. I think it's actually pretty decent. Shrek. Now, I didn't really know what they were talking about with this entry, so I just kind of just said most of the things about Shrek on YouTube, as most of it's just flat out weird. But I don't know, put in the comments, what is the weirdest Shrek thing you have ever seen on YouTube? Operations YouTube channels. Now, because of YouTube leniency about educational content on their platform, you can actually go out and see real medical operations performed as videos. Because for one reason or another, YouTube allows educational, I put in quotes, content. And because technically operational videos would be performed and uploaded by these like professional companies, YouTube allows it on the platform. I don't know why it isn't ever age restricted, but for the most part, it's not age restricted and anyone can watch it. I think that's a problem. Do I not think it's a problem? That's for you all to decide. I'm one of the ones who just says at least age restricted, because most of it's not age restricted and you can literally just search it up and click on it. Sorry, post-editing me here. I completely forgot to add, don't hug me, I'm scared.
What's your favorite idea? Mine is being creative.
How do you get the idea?
I just tried to think creatively.
This is a distorted Sesame Street horror show started in July of 2011, created by Becky Salome and Joseph Pelling. The pair would get so popular that they would even be able to work on an episode of The Amazing World of Gumball, and even in recent 2022 would get their own TV show based off of the internet series. Yeah, that would end off Layer 2. Again, not as interesting, not as big or powerful, but again, as I said, personally for me, Layer 3 onwards is where it starts getting weird, but for the first 2 layers, it's more of your well-known horror stuff. But it will be discussing Layer 3 of the most disturbing, of the most weirdest videos on YouTube ever, Iceberg. This layer, as I did say, it is a lot more, it's a lot less videos that were horror based and a lot more, and this is where we're going to start getting into that flip where it's a lot less of this disturbing videos on the platform and it's more weird videos on the platform. We're actually starting to get into the weird aspect of the Iceberg, as our first entry is St. John videos.
I heard you're doing the hand thing today. God, what is that? Shay, what is it?
Which, if you have not heard of that name in a while, I hadn't either. But this would be a channel about a character named St. John, created by Eric Fonder back in 2006 to 2007. But the channel has since been deleted, but has actually had an archive re-uploading their videos in 2017 and onwards. Sadly, Eric would die in February of 2010 at the age of 42 due to alcohol-induced internal bleeding. Now, Shay's most popular video would of course be Hand Thing. These would be weird videos because, again, not just nervy character design of Shay, but of just the camera style. Again, these were made back in 2007 to 2006, where again, you wouldn't get crystal clear audio or visual, and that with the design of Shay, St. John, would just be very, very weird, as Shay, as the character, has a weird origin. So apparently it was originally, I think, like a dancer or something, and then caught a disease which caused her body to sort of, I think it was like fall off. Parts of her body would fall off, and then she would replace them with like mannequin pieces. I think that was the story that Eric to tell. There's a huge video, and maybe I'll cover these videos later on, but that was what the main story for Shay St. John was. And then of course there was just the channel, but there was also a website, there was also movies. This was a whole big thing, and if you were back in the early 2000s, this was a huge weird story, because again, you would originally see it on YouTube. But again, sadly, both Eric and his original channel would be deleted, but of course would be revived with the help of archives. Hi, stranger.
It's been a while. I've missed you. It's okay. You can look at my butt.
Now, this was a stop-motion animation created by Kristen Leeper. It's just a naked guy laying down, talking to the audience and talking to the audience about what they've been up to. Honestly, looking at the character on the thumbnail, I thought this was gonna be a lot weirder than it really was, but it was just actually pretty comforting. If you have a minute to just sit down and listen to a weird anthropomorphic naked man, I would suggest you watch the video, as it's literally kind of calming. He has a very calming voice. He talks about very calming things. It's a very calming video. Jimmy Neutron, Happy Family Happy Hour.
Hello Jimmy, hello you. I am going to make a delicious dinner meal.
Jimmy, your mom is dead. Do an order of pizza for dinner.
Now, this is a classic video. Via 3D animation depicting a distorted version of the Neutron family as they would get killed by each other or a flying pizza. Now, this short would be coming out in 2013 by Seinfeld Spitzen. I think that's how you pronounce it. And when I say this video was everywhere, it was everywhere. You had it on the Find Bros React channel. You had everyone for some reason also, this would be considered a horror video, and some people would consider it a comedy video. Personally, I consider it a comedy video because I just found it way too funny. They even made a second video following the success of the first one, and it's just very weird. I kind of want to see the original voice actor for Jimmy's dad come back, and because he does a lot of cameo stuff, I want to see someone try to get him to actually do the voice for that animation, and then just mend it in together, or blend it in together. I think that'd be super funny. But yeah, this one's a very iconic one. Seen it, you've seen it. If you didn't, you didn't. You want to now? Well, now you can. Chimpanzee. Now this.
That's one of the powers of the witch's eye. I can make it look like my normal eye.
What is that?
Look, a scroll.
This would be an animated HRG depicting two puppies as they try to save kittens from the witch. But this show would be more known for its bloody jump scares and eerie footage more later on down the line of the ARG, as the more you watched it, the more distorted and less colorful and less vibrant and less kid-friendly the ARG would become. And of course that would be the whole point, as it was an ARG. Now, there is a lot to go over in this entry into the ARG here, and a lot of it is completely gone, as again this came out originally I think around 2013. So I would actually suggest you guys go watch Scare Theater's video, and I'll leave that down in the description. Actually, I haven't even said it up until this point, but every single video you want to watch that is on this Iceberg can be found in the description, except for some of them more later down the Iceberg. Literally the last part is the only one where some of the entries won't be given down in the link in the description because YouTube TOS, but again, Scare Theaters will, and Poochie and Pansy's website will. Also, for some reason, every time I think of Poochie and Pansy, the only thing that keeps getting played over and over in my mind is the Gangadiddle, and I don't know why. I just found that word pretty funny. It's from the ARG, and that was the item that you had to find, was the Gangadiddle, and I don't know why, it's just a funny word to say. Gangadiddle. Gangadiddle. Marine Mortigar Gillescorf. Now, this would be another iconic horror video, as it would be a video depicting a man looking at the screen as his eyes go all around it. There's some red lights and I think some eerie video or some eerie audio in the background. But what is more known is the story where if you end up watching the video, you would you end up ripping out your eyes and sending them to YouTube, which was the creepypasta at the time. Which I don't know why a lot of people believe that. Maybe because the video and then the story, people would just be too freaked out to really realize, but how would you send your eyes to YouTube if you can't see? This video would come out originally in 2008, the creepypasta just a tad bit after. It's just a weird video, it doesn't hold up. Someone please, for the love of God, remake this, because I would love to see a better version of this be created. Lee Hardcastle Animation. Now, Lee Hardcastle is a claymation animator who started his journey in 2009 and is known for his dark and twisted animations on well-known animated characters. I think his most well-known one is Simpsons Couch Gag, be his most known video. Understandably so, it was a very violent one, but also very much felt like it could have worked in like a Simpsons Trios of Horror video or episode. This is a weird one that I didn't know. Poodle Exercise with Human.
Hi, I'm Mariko Takahashi. Can you guess who this is? Yes, it's me. You can't believe it, huh? Thanks. But
Okay, so let me explain what this looks like. So basically, it's an aerobics, like a 70s, 80s aerobics commercial. It would be this woman with huge Popeye-like arms dancing with people wearing poodle mask and like a full fursuit. And you would say, and they would be doing cardio work. Now you would say, okay, that's a weird video on its own, you know, but not really as weird as anything else we've seen already on the Iceberg. What would be more weird about it, I think, is just the backstory. So this would actually be a commercial created by Panasonic, yeah, the camera company, ahead of the 2004 Summer Olympics. Whose idea was this? Just like with layer 1, or I think it was, no, it was layer 2, Little Baby Ice Cream. Who signed off? Who said that this was a good idea? Who? Look at those dogs. Look at those dogs. Who thought this was a good idea? Who? Girl in Russian Woods. Now, video of this would be a hoax video released back in 2009 of a little girl levitating off the ground and her mother being right next to her, and the camerawoman and her dog ending up stumbling upon her. Now, even though I said this is a hoax video, there still hasn't been anyone that can definitively prove that it is a hoax video. It's been around for so long, and they go back and say whether or not it's real. As, again, videos from 2009, really it's more harder because there's not really a lot of internet archives, or, you know, most of the channels that would upload the stuff would just be re-uploads of other videos. David Landowiski videos. Now this would be videos of 3D animated humans getting morphed into these very positions as they just go for a normal walk with some very hyperactive music in the background. These would be, of course, created in 2011. Landowiski would also be the one who would create the music video Hurting. And that's what you're going to see more on this list as we get more down on the layers. As I said, even though they get much more obscure and weird, you're going to start noticing that these videos were just the earlier projects for these creators. As when you look at their catalog now, and even some of the ones back in the day, they created some very imaginative and just groundbreaking things, and it's pretty disappointing that some of their most well-known stuff is some of their earliest and or just flat-out weirdest projects, when some of their most stuff is just kind of left to the sideline. Like again, David Lebowski's most popular video is literally just a man walking with funny music, but he created such a very nice and pleasant music video and song called Hurting with Flying Fires, I think was the name of the band. And it's a really good song. Leaving all these down in the description down below if you want to see any of these things that are on this iceberg, go and look at the description. Carl Maynor. Now, this would be a weird, highly edited video of a high ear-piercing sound with flower background and colorful colors. Now, this one actually, I actually went so long without remembering this video, as this video I hadn't seen in years. And really watching it, I remember the old days, and I remember exactly where I saw this video. I saw this on a BHD, Blasphemous HD Top 5 reaction video. And this is such a weird video, as I don't think it's ever been explained why or who made it. Now, the theory was that if you would watch it, you would have a, limited time until you would die. Which, again, totally made up. Everyone who watched it lived. It's just a weird video for, I think, weird video's sake, as I think I looked on his channel and looked for more content that this guy made. I couldn't really find any. Again, this was just a weird video that was just weird for the sake of being weird. EDAREM, Pretty Woman. This would be a video that would start out very weird, get pretty wholesome, and then get very dark, as this was a video of an old man lip-syncing the song Pretty Woman, and it would be created by a man named Edward Munsker back in 2009. Now, originally when people saw it, they thought this was sort of just a weird video on the internet, sort of kind of creepy, you know? It was mainly because of the way he looked. And then a lot of people kind of thought that that was wrong, and then they kind of just said, oh, this is an old man being himself on YouTube. So it got a lot of love for a time being, but then it would come out that in the video, Edward Munsker would actually be a registered sex offender, and that would make this video so incredibly dark. So the story is, and not story, the actual thing that happened is he was a registered sex offender for, I say this without getting demonetized, even though I'm not monetized. He would basically do stuff with a 12-year-old boy. He got, arrested, found out, and he was tried, and he had to apply. He had to basically sign up and say that he's a sex offender. And, of course, like any sex offender, he was completely banished to the shadow realms and the gulag. Apparently, he didn't like that too much. He didn't like that. And so he left the state to kind of find a better place to live, or he to kind of escape his past, and then he would start his YouTube channel. Now, that YouTube channel would actually be the thing that put him back in the limelight of the law, as he was not allowed to actually have access to the internet, and so the police found out what he was up to, and because he didn't actually re-register as a sex offender in his new state, the cops arrested him again, and now I think he is still in jail serving his sentence because A, he wasn't allowed to be on the internet, and B, you're not allowed to leave your state and not re-register as a sex offender in that state. The weird thing is that the video I ended up doing a bit of research, and then I found this history video about Edward, and the comments on that video were just so weird. I don't know why, but because there was a lot of videos that were saying oh, he was trying to change his life, and they were trying to be supportive of him, and I don't know why. I just found that really weird, because you could tell they all knew that he was a registered sex offender, and they knew of his crimes because they were watching the same video I did that was explaining his past and his history. And it was just something sickening that I don't know, I couldn't, that just had a bitter taste in my mouth. Field.
Stuffed in your face as usual.
I gotta have a good meal.
Garfield, you fat cat. You are so big and fat. Why are you...
Now this would be a MS Paint animation of Garfield by Plot Red Sun, which will be the last time you see them on the channel, on the Iceberg, but it would be a video where Garfield, John, and Odie, content that would only be understood now than back in 2013. Again, the video just screams 2023 humor. I can't really explain it beyond that. Like, if it was on like my shorts or, you know, TikTok, I understand it more than I would back in the day. Jimin Bent videos. Now, this would be a man who would also be well known as the Sitting and Smiling Man, and this would be because he would make these hour-long streams, live streams, where he would just sit and smile. Now this was before really live streaming was heavily popular in the internet sphere, so it was odd that someone was live streaming for that long, but also he was just sitting and smiling. So people would end up finding out that this was considered an endurance challenge, as you know, he would just sit there for hours on end and smile. It would even go as far as in some of the videos you could see him urinating on himself because he couldn't move. And in another video, he was literally robbed. Like, there was a man who came in, stole all of his, or stole some of his stuff, looked into the camera, looked at him, and left. Which is just crazy. And I couldn't imagine doing that for a video. Double King. Now this would be an animated film created by Felix Cotrell, released back in 2017, which shows this bug thing in his Thanos-style quest to gain all the crowns, but he ends up failing and losing all of his crowns. And again, this is one of the ones where, again, as I said, it is very weird, but you can tell there was a whole lot of talent and a whole lot of heart that went into this, because there's a really good story that happens in this, I think it's 5-minute short, and I very much enjoy it. It's a very cute short, very nice, very pleasant short. This would end off layer 3. So, okay, let's get into the most weirdest YouTube videos ever, Iceberg. Now, we're on layer 4. As I said, we're now straying further from the horror and more into the weird. So some of these videos, I'm going to have an easier time explaining than others, and for some of them, I'm just not going to be able to explain them at all. And I'm literally just going to have to let the video footage on my, my left, I think, for this one. No, on my right. Sorry, that's right, yeah, they're on my right. Explain more than I can. Baby laughs a lot commercial.
You're listening to Baby Laugh a Lot. She's the funniest doll you've ever seen.
Now this would be a commercial coming out in 1971 of an eerie doll that's whole purpose was to laugh. It was just really creepy and weird. I don't know who would want this type of doll, but it was popular, I guess. And the creepiest thing would be later on down the line, if the batteries ever got close to dying, it would be much creepier because the volume would lower and the laughing would lower, and it would just sound super demonic. Here's a clip. The clip, it just, again, sounded really creepy when it lost batteries, but also, again, the commercial just is really vintage and really creepy. Val, Val, Val. Now this would be another bend wheel project created in 2009, and just like Henry Eats, it's just a compilation of these very strange events put together. Again, well animated videos, but just really weird. Who's behind our face? Now, originally, I didn't know what they were talking about with this one, and I really had trouble searching this one up until I realized what this would refer to, as this would be an odd art animated project, or an odd art project of a man, Oliver D. Sagans, Sagazan. And this would be him painting himself on his face and then ripping all the paint off in this like monstrosity of a video. The video would actually be called Transfiguration, and it would be released back in 2009, and it was actually this creative art project. Now, when you watched it back in the day in 2009, 2010, you really didn't know what was going on, because again, there's no beginning, there's no ending that explains what's going on. It literally just immediately cuts to the video of him painting himself, and he's just making these weird noises when he takes all the stuff off, and it's just this cacophony of weirdness. But of course, it would be, as I said, an animated or an art project that would basically, it was meant to depict the changing of a man to an animal, and then to an animal to various different creatures. I don't understand art, man. This is such a weird project. I don't know how this could be considered an art project. I don't know how you can get that messaging from it, but for the people who can, you got more of an artistic guy than I do. Agamem counterpart. Now this is a classic. Now this was a strange animated short that was released all the way back in 2001, and it's a definition of a strange video just to be a strange video, as this video would be created by Jason Kovac, Jason Kovac, for a competition. And again, as I said, the whole point of the project is just to be strange. That's what Kovac originally wanted. After being interviewed, that is exactly what the video is supposed to be, just strange. Again, you open up with a weird title screen that just says, oh, there was a videotape found on Mars, and then this isn't that videotape, and then it cuts to the animation. And mostly everything from that video, all the sounds were actually found, which was really cool. Again, I don't remember whose video it was. If I find it, I'll put it in the link in the description, where they go in and they basically say every single part of the video, or every single audio clip from that video. You know, it's a pretty strange one, very classic. SCP-096. Now, I don't actually know what this one refers to. So again, because it's an SCP video, there are multiple SCP videos about this one, but I think this refers to a video by Kenny241100, which was released back in 2013, which shows this large creature attacking a camera crew. It was just this large gray, blinky creature that would attack this camera crew at night. Again, I think the short's about a couple of seconds long. It'd actually, of course, be based off of the SCP of Shy Guy, which that's the only reason I could put these videos together, is because they somewhat look similar. Could be wrong. And of course, if you don't know what the SCPs are, they're this like ARG type web story that's been going on for the past, I would even say 20 years. It's just a growing catalog, a growing video. I kind of want to do SCP videos at some point, but that might be a future endeavor. But if you guys would be interested in that, put it down in the comment. Disney's Lion King in 3D.
Long live the king.
Now, this would make me laugh so hard, because this video would basically be a bad 3D animated version of the Death of Mufasa from The Lion King, released back in 2013 by the creator Chan HXBF. This is hilarious. It's just literally just so crappy just to be crappy. and still somehow shows more emotion than The Lion King 2019. Don't know how that's possible, but I liked it. It was really funny. I'll play a clip here. Poco shopping. Now this would be a video of a doll that basically goes shopping. Now the reason it's here is because it would get extremely violent near the end and even have in the captions very dark explanations, as this is a, I think, completely soundless video. But in the captions it would be captioning everything that would be said. So this would be released in 2014 by the same creator of username 666, which would obviously make sense as these two have very similarities in how they're produced. By Nana825763. And again, as I said, even though this is creepy, even though this is weird, it's still actually well produced. Like, honestly, it's really well produced. But again, still creepy and dark as hell. Cool 3D world animations. Now this would be another channel that would use 3D animations to be the extreme creative scenarios that can only be done in the animation world. Now the channel would get started in 2015 by Brian Tessler and John Birkin. And again, as I said, these videos are just weird for the sake of being weird. Mouse Fan Club. Now this would be another video created by Joe, the man who made The Dog of Wisdom, and it would be released in 2014. And this would depict the Mickey Mouse gang dancing and eventually sacrificing Pete. Yeah, as I said, some of these weird animations, man, they're just weird. Pringle advert.
Pringles, it's exquisite cuisine. Come on in and purchase this chip. Come enjoy these crisps. What's that? You're going to get Doritos instead? Really now? You think you have the audacity to buy another brand?
Now this would be another video created by Pilot Red Sun that shows the Pringle Man trying to get us to buy Pringles until he finds out that we aren't buying Pringles, we're buying Doritos. And he gets super offended, and I think he might try to kill us for buying those Doritos, which honestly, like, I don't know, I haven't seen that many people buying Pringles just to eat them. It might just be me, but like, I haven't seen a lot of people just eating Pringles to eat Pringles. Like, that used to be a huge thing back in the day, but now again, like, there's so many more chip options that you can't even find one that's actually wanting to eat Pringles. WPKEPKW. Now, this would be an iconic cursed video showing a blurry man with a very blurry man in a very distorted video with distorted music behind it. I think it was very distorted music behind it. Now, this was supposed to be a video that would cause you bad luck if you watched the video. Now, of course, that was just an urban legend, and of course, everything created around this video would be fake. Now, this video, I think, would actually originate back in 2014 by Mark Best, but it's very hard to get sort of a clear and cut answer to where this video would originate. And there would also be a second video that I want to point out which would be someone else's channel who made a supposedly cursed, what their reaction was after watching the video, which would be like screen glitching out and showing the image of the man on her screen, because again, it was supposed to, you know, mess with your technology. It didn't, but it was really creative for the time. I'll give them that. It was very, very creative for the time. Day first animation. Now,
I like rusty spoons. I like to touch them. The feeling of rust.
Now this would be a UK man most creative, most famous for his creation of the infamous character Salad Fingers, propelling him to the top and would start his entire career back in 2006. And even now he still makes animations. Actually, about a year ago, I think he made another Salad Fingers video, which You know, great for him. Again, Salad Fingers is a very well known. Again, as I said, these might be some weird animations, and these might be some weird things down the line, but by God, can these people create amazing works of art just with what they're given, which I just don't have any words with. It's just an amazing, you know, feat that these people can do. But that would end off layer 4. Let's jump right back in to the disturbing and weird Iceberg. So, to start off with this Iceberg, we're now jumping into where the first 4 layers were disturbing media, like somewhat weird videos. Practically everything on this Iceberg is just weird. There isn't a lot of disturbing. I think there's 1 or 2 entries that are disturbing, but mostly all of them are just flat out weird that I don't really have any way of describing, but I'm gonna try the best of my ability to. Cool Guy has chill day.
It's Cool Guy!
Now this would be a music style video of this cool guy going around town. He would be a man in some sort of mannequin head, and this would be released back in 2009 by Lonely Boy Industry. The video would become so popular, they would actually create a sequel to this video, being, I think it would be Chill Dude and Cool Guy would battle each other. This would be released in 2014, 5 years later, by Devin Montes and Anthony Lohr. Again, these are just pretty cool, interesting videos. Again, they're just something that was for the time. New Super Mario Bros. Whee! This would be a video by Cyrakek. Yeah, I can't pronounce that. I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. Released back in 2018. Now, this would just be the opening of the Super Mario Bros. Wii intro, but if you can somewhat imagine it, just if you were on like one end of a tunnel, like a train tunnel, and then like someone was booting up the game in like another part of the tunnel, and like you would kind of hear it, it would kind of sound loud, but then it just kind of get quiet to the point where you were. And then at the end of the video, it's just a couple of like iconic like .exe images of the Mario characters, and that's really it. Samson pays a visit.
It's time to have some fun with Uncle Samson.
A 3D animation of a bear named Uncle Samson, being the stereotypical uncle towards this kid. By the end of the video, he would dancing to a song, God, I can't remember it, but if I do, it'll be somewhere on the screen. And this would be released back in 2014 by Jack Bowen. Now, this would be so popular that he would make an entire, like, sort of series around it. It wasn't really a series, but it was just kind of just using the characters in multiple ways, sort of to stretch that dollar, you know? It was sheep. This would be a 3D animation of 2 groups of sheep trying to get at each other, even though their owners don't want it to happen. So the owners try to separate the 2 sheep by all means necessary. It would be weird because by the midpoint, the sheep are violently trying to get at each other, but the more and more, it eventually starts with barbed wire, then bricks, then everything else. And the sheep just try to get at each other, and it just turns into a bloodbath. By the end of it, they would shave off all the sheep and eventually just turn into some weird racism plot. This would be directed by Gottfried Mentor and released back in 2018. Daisy leaves. Now this would be a horror HRG by Robert Helpman that depicts a dead body in a plastic bag with backwards playing music at the video. Now, the weird thing is that this is, yes, an ARG, but no one has been able to figure out the mystery of the series. There have been theories that, of course, the video was supposed to be, in quotation marks, created by a killer recording his victims, but there hasn't been any confirmation as to what actually goes on in these videos. Real demons caught on tape. Now this is a video by Chester Tyler 714, released back in 2009, that shows hands coming out of every area in a person's house, and eventually would come together to create a hand monster, which still to this day, I don't understand how that concept has never actually made it into some sort of horror movie, or how this guy never went out and tried to, you know, get a big job in VFX, because genuinely, it is still impressive how the video looks. Even to this day, it stands the test of time. SpongeBob style. Now this would be a creepy video of SpongeBob doing the Gangnam Style dance, with a kid singing the same song in the background. Now this would be released in 2013 by Science Sled Bitston. Die Fantasy. A music video showing the terror and dread you experience when being forced to leave your childhood behind. Now this is shown through the ideas of sex. It's actually kind of beautiful. The animation is really perfect, the music is just top notch, it's just silly the visuals. The visual elements are what make this sort of stand out in a way, but genuinely, I don't know why not a lot of people are still talking about this, as it is genuinely one of the most beautiful music videos, as again, it shows just how, you know, there's like this huge debate about like TikTok kids and how like kids are growing up too fast nowadays and how like kids aren't allowed to be kids anymore, and this video just shows what that kind of looks like, as again, it's just a group of high schoolers just rebellious because they think that they should eat the meat puppet. Now this video shows the story of Pete the Meat Puppet and his struggles he had to go through in life, released back in 2008 by the Denzel Show, and it would be only a black and white short. Now this would be a weird video just because of like the puppet looks really made of meat, like, and like the whole story, like I think the story was that Pete the Meat Puppet was born to a human woman who couldn't keep him because I think she was dying, and then he ends up going to the circus and a whole bunch of these places and just trying to find the meaning of his life. SpongeBob Cave Eaten Alive. Now this video would be by String Anime and released back in 2018, showing a deformed SpongeBob walking into a cave dancing and then being eaten alive by this rat-looking fish. And that would be it. Malice in Wonderland. Now this would be an animated drug trip of a video that embraced the odyssey of the original Alice in Wonderland story by taking parts of the story and just telling them through visual mediums. This short would be released back in 1982 by Vince Collins, and again, this is just one of those ones where it just looks weird, But when you actually realize that this wasn't a point where everything was just hand-drawn, like, it is impressive how this story looks and how they're able to tell a meticulous story just through a visual means, which is something that not a lot of shows or movies get to do anymore, and I just like it because of it. Teddy has an operation.
Is wrong. Count down from 10 now, Teddy. You won't make it to 1 because the doctor is putting you to sleep. Now the doctor can begin his operation, and Teddy will not feel a thing. Now Teddy is on drugs. The doctor cuts into Teddy's flesh with his medical instrument. Look, there is Teddy.
Now, if the title didn't give it away, it's exactly how it sounds. It's just a man whispering about operating on a teddy bear, and we watch as he uses real, in quotation marks, organs when it's actually just like cow and like animal organs, but still real organs nonetheless in the short. And this would be released back in 2013 by Z Frank. And in some sort of a weird way, I found this video really wholesome because there's just something soothing. Maybe it's about the way he talks or just the way he takes this like sort of disturbing medium but makes it so incredibly wholesome because of just the way he talks about it and the way he's not like how it's not just disturbing to be disturbing, but there's actually something wholesome that he wants to bring to the project. You're a wizard, Harry.
You're a wizard.
I'm a what?
A wizard, Harry.
I'm a wizard?
Yes, Harry. You're a wizard.
But I'm just Harry.
Well, just Harry. You're a wizard.
But I'm just Harry.
No.
Now, this would be a good animation where a Scottish man just roleplays the iconic scene of Harry Potter where Harry finds out he's a wizard. But in this version, Harry doesn't actually want to be a wizard. And the funny thing is again, this was an SFM animation, so like they're not actually using the real sprites of either character. So it just adds on to the just hilarity of the short. And I just want to end on this one because it's genuinely funny. I genuinely just found it hilarious. But that would end off the iceberg, or layer 5 of the iceberg, layer 6. So layer 6, as I said, up until this point, each one of them just gets weirder and weirder and weirder. Well, we have now hit the point of the iceberg where almost 90% of the entries are weird. That's basically where we're at this point. From this point forward, it is just going to be weird videos. They're just going to be flat out weird. Some of them, again, I'll be able to commentate and say who released them, but here's the thing about going forward. Most of these videos have been released so many times that I legitimately cannot find an answer to where the original release came from because it's just been uploaded so many times. So from this point forward, I will be trying to, as hard as I can, to put the original creator or give the original creator credit, but some of them I just couldn't because it's legitimately almost near difficult. Because even now at this point, Google searches to find these videos are almost impossible. Year 2. This was one of the ones that I didn't know what it could mean, but the only one I found was from this anime Nikaijo, released back in 2006, which shows a principal trying to catch a deer, but getting his ass completely whooped in the process. Again, as I said, this was the only one I could find, and I don't even know generally if this is what the original creator of the iceberg meant, but again, as I said, it's gonna get hard at this point. Dolphin puzzle. Now, funnily enough, this video would actually have a resurgence a couple months ago, but this refers to a video that came out in 2007 of a man wearing this dolphin-like prosthetic, and in the video, wearing a dolphin-like prosthetic. Now, this video, of course, came back into relevancy because it's just odd. Again, like, it's just a odd, kind of unsettling video. You just aren't prepared for a man that looks like a dolphin. But it would later come out that the dolphin muzzle video would just be kind of an advertisement showing these muzzle type prosthetics. And funnily enough, there are many of these videos actually. It's not just the dolphin muzzle. There's some for pandas, some for horses, some for, I think, alligators even. and they would all be coming from this company called North Fur that would make these prosthetics. So if you want to be a realistic furry, go to that company and be a realistic furry. Real cursed video. Now, I didn't really know what this was talking about, as we had already covered many supposedly cursed videos up until this point. Again, WPK, WKW, username 666, Marito Modigar Gleskorf, Carl Maynard. Again, by this point we had already gone through a lot of the more well-known cursed videos. So honestly, I don't know what they're trying to refer to in this entry, but I'm just gonna say it probably just is referring to supposedly real cursed videos on the platform. White Horse, why you never became a dancer. Now, just like Obey the Walrus, I don't want to cover the real video. It's because, again, I feel like the image that they use and the way that they use it is just completely disrespectful to the original person. So again, I just kind of want to give you guys the story of what the actual image is of. If you want a bit more of an in-depth video, go to Lazy Master Raid's video, because he actually did a full 30-minute like talking about this image. Basically, what the story was it was a woman named Riko Takaumara, and this woman would live in Japan and would be killed at the age of 21, and this would actually be one of the last photos that the government or the police would use to identify the amount of people this person who the killer would eventually kill. And sadly, Riko, she would be one of the victims, and eventually her image would be used in the horse video. But the only thing we can do at this point is tell her story, and hopefully, you know, more people can see that. But again, if you want more information as to the image itself, description, as I said, Lazy Masquerade's video will be down there. Girl goes psycho during makeup tutorial. Now, this would actually be a video that would actually escape the internet sphere back in the day. So in this video, we would actually see a woman doing her makeup, and I might actually not be able to show this due to age restriction, so you might see it, you might not, I don't really know. I might even just try to distort the footage so that it doesn't get age restricted, but in this video, you would see a woman doing her makeup when things start to go wrong, as like her screen would go black, and eventually out of nowhere, and she would just kind of phase in and out of just lucidness. But in the end, she would just end up smashing her face into the keyboard, and by the end of the video, you would see her face completely cracked open. Now, this video, of course, would go epically viral, as, again, it would go outside the internet sphere because people legitimately thought it was real. Eventually, it would come out by star Nikki coming out on a Facebook post and saying that, no, I'm still alive, we good. But it was just one of the most weirdest videos because, again, you watch it, it originally wasn't age restricted, so you would originally watch it and you would just be like, what is going on? But again, still one of a really cool video because, again, it just shows the cool nature of practical effects. Okay, so this one's gonna be hard for me to pronounce, but Kunga Daku Deku Daka, however you pronounce that. Now, this video would actually be released back in, I think it would be 2005, and this video would apparently show a real Karuza, a spirit of a female from Southeast Asia folklore. Now, this would basically it would be a woman that manifested, and it would be just her disembodied head of a woman and not much else. Now, the video would actually be supposedly a real spirit, basically, in a zoo type enclosure. Now, as I said, because of how old this video is, again, this video came back out, video came out in like 2009. It can't be confirmed whether it's real or not. I can't really, I'm on the more edge of saying that I want to believe that it's real, but I could also say that this does somewhat look fake, but it is very convincing since the low quality and everything. But again, can't say that's real or fake. OMG Biscoff spread.
And a bagel with peanut butter sounds so hot right now.
I'm not using fucking peanut butter. I'm using Biscoff spread.
What the fuck is that?
It's sort of like peanut butter, but instead of being made out of peanuts, it's made out of fucking cookies. Made out of fucking cookies. Made out of fucking cookies.
This would be an unofficial commercial of a product called Biscoff. We are being advertised by two sock puppets One of them that has a shocking reaction to the idea that Biscoff are made of cookies and goes crazy because of it. This would be made by Film Cow and released back in 2013. And this would actually not be the only type commercial that Film Cow would make. He would make a couple of others in the same somewhat style, but of course the most known would of course be the Biscoff spread. Octocat Adventures.
What's in that box? Nice cup of tea. Cup of tea. Maybe relaxing.
Now this would be made by Brandy Peter and released back in 2008. It would be an MS Paint of an Octocat looking for their parents. And the Octocat would have this weird voice, and there would be about 5 parts of the series that I could find with basically the same quality. Now from what I've been told, I didn't watch this whole series, but from what I've been told, these actually somewhat play out a story. I can't confirm that. I need to watch the full series. From what I can tell, there might be something there, but I can't, be 100% sure. Who wants to grow on human bones? It's just a dream. It's just Dream doing dream things, basically, with ear-piercing music in the background of the video that's almost 13 years old by Treats for Beast. So this next video, it is very weird why this next video is here. It is very strange, but definitely has an interesting story. Illusion of Bias. Now this would be a video that shows a 10-year-old girl who had surgery to remove a tumor from her face. But with that comes the loss of all perception of what she looks like, until the ending of the video where she looks at her face and she finally gets to see what her face looks like. This would be one of the most perfect representations of what horror should be, because throughout the video we are given multiple somewhat ideas of what's going on. It's basically tension building until that final scene where we see her face. And it just, up until that point, is just giving us so much story that when we get to that point, it's so incredibly disappointing. I suggest you guys watch this video on your own. It's somewhat of a creepier video and not really fitting the other vibe on this Iceberg, but trust me, it is just a great representation of what horror and the internet can do, as this video was released all the way back in 2009 by Alexander Biscuits and Spars Rojas. Every minute you question what's going on, and it builds tension till the twist at the end when you find out what she looks like. Just trust me, watch the short. I'm not going to spoil it here since I think it's a perfect ending to a video, and I don't really want to give you much more than what basically can be summarized about the video. Grandma's and Baby, Day at the Park.
Everything is beautiful in its own way.
Okay, so it's as it sounds. It's basically this old woman with her baby at the park. But why did I give the reaction that I did? Well, the baby is a fully grown man wearing a baby's mask and wearing a baby type costume. Now this would be released back in 2009. Landon Mary. Seems that the video would weirdly be made to promote the baby mask, but I'm just like, couldn't they have just made it a different way, you know? Why did they have to make it like that? Igor. very noise. To explain this, it would take a full degree of weirdness. So I'm just gonna say it's a fever dream and another 3D animation that was made by Igor back in 2020. But that would be the end of the iceberg. Let's get into layer 7. So layer 7, as I said, most of the videos are weird. I think there's only maybe one, if any, that are just creepy. So again, most of these are just going to be very, very weird. If you enjoyed everything else up to this point, you would like this one. 1995 Squish.avi. Another Ben Wheel video coming out in 2019 showing this strange putty-like creature dancing with this circus-like music until finally being squished by an unknown force. Meow Meow, I Am a Cat video.
We are cats, and that is that. No deep meanings, truths, or facts.
Now this would be released back in 2012 by Mad Cat Lady, showing a group of cats in the what I can just describe as human-like cat people, as it would be the bodies of humans but with the tail of a cat, the ears of a cat, and then the fur of a cat. And it would be like you're just dropping acid, because it would just get distorted, and so do the cats and the cat people and the music. The weird thing is like all of this like weird psychedelic stuff is going on screen, but there's very calming music in the back. Like for no reason, just calming music. The Chuckle Hut. Now this would be a short release back in 2007 by Christoph, re-uploaded, and it would show a person's face just staring as her mouth goes up and down and this weird music plays in the background as the screen just vibrates. Again, there's nothing more to this one, that's really it. Body of a pig.
Let me stick the camera through the hole first, might be a body in there. What a tramp with no teeth. East what, so far? East wing.
Again, weirdly, this one is this low on the iceberg, even though I don't think it's as weird. I think this should have been up at the first layer, but it's down here. Now, this would be released back in 2007 by David Rizamond, and it would show a group of ghost hunters as they investigate a secret location that they claim is haunted. And by the end, they catch a voice in their EVP.
Get in.
That ends up saying, I have a body of a pig. And at the end, they catch a photo of what they claim is the ghost that said that message. Now, I love ghost hunting videos. I love them, I grew up on them. That's actually what originally got me into horror in the first place. So I always hate saying that ghost hunting videos are fake, but I can't confirm that this is 100% real, as there are some telltale signs. The audio on the clip is just too clear that in the video you can't properly see the ghost that they claim they caught on footage, and it just, there's a lot of inconsistencies where I can't 100% say that it's real, but I can't say that it's 100% fake, and it's too old to where we can somewhat get a real idea onto whether it's real or not. Toy Freak videos. So, just like in our early entries, Toy Freaks is in the same line of how Elsagate was on YouTube. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to show any footage from the channel. If I do find some like news clippings or someone else's video that covers it, then I will. but because there are underage kids in very vulnerable situations, I just don't feel comfortable showing it. But this channel would get started in 2012 and would depict this family, but strange thing is that there were two kids who were clearly much older, and they were being depicted as babies, literally wearing onesies with a pacifier in their mouth and not being able to literally speak regular words. And from the looks of their channel, it seemed as though they were being forced to act like this. Well, because of this, of course, that's against TOS for YouTube, so the channel would eventually be shut down in 2017. Because again, it was breaking YouTube's TOS of the kids endangerment policy. This would not be the end that we would see of Toy Freaks. And I don't think most people even realize that they're coming back, as Toy Freaks actually came back. Yeah, in March of 2023, the channel would be a new Toy Freaks channel showing the original kids and the original parents, and literally the original group would come back in March of 2023. And when I saw this, I just couldn't believe it. I'm actually going to make a video very, very soon on this, because they are still actively uploading, and they are still doing the exact same thing that got them demonetized. Now, luckily, they have not been able to get a big audience, not like the original Toy Freaks did, but they are still being able to make revenue off of these videos. And I'm going to make a video as fast as I can talking about this, but it is just disgusting that they are back, and that it seems like they are still trying to make the same content they did. And here's the thing, the kids are much older than they were back in 2012, much older, and they are still having to wear the onesies, the pacifiers, and do the voice and do all of this stuff, and it's just completely disgusting. Bananas exploding on face. Now this would be released back 2010 by Wham Up channel, as this video would show a man with bananas basically covering his face, and he would take a lighter and he would make them explode. Now I'm pretty sure there were like firecrackers inside that explode the bananas, but it's still just a weird video nonetheless. Eat the hell. Now this video would depict a crippled Sonic the Hedgehog, live action Sonic the Hedgehog, eating a chili dog. Laughter can be heard in the background. It would actually come out that this would actually just be a YouTube parody series called There Will Be Brawl. It would actually come out to do other depictions of these characters where they would just be in somewhat weird situations or very ironic, in quotation marks, poses or depictions of these characters. Again, they're just parodying the original gaming characters. When a Japan horseman decides to eat toxic mushrooms. This video was actually very hard for me to find. There's literally barely any record of this. Now sadly, or not sadly, I can't show this video as it would definitely age restrict the video, as the original video is age restricted, as it is literally just a naked Japanese man in a horse costume. So this would be released by Oh My Japan back in 2015, and it would again be a naked Japanese man collecting mushrooms from the forest, cooking them, and then eating them, all while he wears a horse head mask. And that's basically as much as I can tell you guys without this video demonetized, or well, not demonetized because it's not monetized, but like without it getting age restricted, because again, as I said, this is one of the weirder ones, because again, it's just generally weird. Let me hear your war cry. Now this would be uploaded back in 2012 by Space Hopper Copper. Now this would be, of course, another one where I would have expected to be much earlier on the Iceberg because it's just so famous, but it's basically a scene from Full Metal Jacket released back in 1987 where it would just be deepfaked versions of those characters with weird baby faces, and them yelling at each other. And that would be the unsettling part for most people, as again, baby faces don't have expressions, so it's just the deep faked mouths moving, you know, how like most deep faked mouths move when it's just a flat image. Avi. A video by Creepy Shed released back in 2012, which shows a distorted VHS tape of a guy in a white mask while we cut to another person wearing a T spinning a camera, and well, you finally get jump scared at the end. Patrick gets in shape.
Everybody calls me fat or no more, cause I'm gonna get in shape. Yeah, I can feel the muscles. I can feel the fat burning. I gotta get in shape. I gotta get in shape. It's working. Look.
A video by String Anime released back in 2016, which shows a 3D animated version of Patrick with a F&B trying to get in shape, but then finally gets too in shape, I guess you could say. But yes, that would be the end of Layer 7. Let's get into it. So again, as I said, this is going to be Layers 8 and Layers 9. So Layer 8 is going to be more just weird videos. Again, this is going to be this basically from down below, just going to be weird videos. All in all, these are just going to be flat out weird videos. There's literally not going to be a single creepy video. It's all going to be weird. And some of these I couldn't even find on the regular YouTube web. I had to go to outside sources. But we'll be getting into that later on. So let's get into it. Horned Grandma.
Horned Grandma!
Darling, it's so good to see you. Come kiss your grandma.
Now this would be a video released by Nemesis back in 2006 of what seemed to be an old VHS ad of a horned grandma as she tries to make you give her a kiss. As the video distorts, she becomes very angry and aggressive towards you. So, don't know if you know this, but related to that video, back in 2010, there was an actual Chinese grandmother who actually grew a horn on her forehead, and it actually measured in about 2.4 inches long. Apparently people can actually get horns. They are caused by warts from skin cancer and sun exposure. So, do what you will with that information. On Mama.
اشرب مشغولة عطشان كتير قلت لك مشغولة بس عم بحضر تلفزيون.
Now this is strange because I feel that this shouldn't be as low. Like with some of the entries on Layer 7, I don't feel like it should be as low. But this video would be released back in 2006 by Nander Haj, and it would just be a clip of what seems to be a Lebanese TV show, and the joke is that the kid's just asking for water. That's really it. Nothing creepy, nothing disturbing. I think it's just the way the mom looks. Ellen Wilson 92 videos. Okay. So for this account, I wasn't actually able to find it, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about Andy Wilson 92. Now they started back in 2006, and they would be making the same content, just weird 2D, 3D animations, just like the others. Again, they would just be weird audio with weird visuals. By this point, it's just a normal thing. RBG Dream Minecraft Interlude Happy Factory. Now this would actually be, funnily enough, we hadn't seen him for a while, but Rat Boy Genius is back. And this video would show little King John having his happy factory stolen by the Rat King. For some reason, there's actually good beats in this video, but sadly, little Rat King John would not get his factory back. Respect for little King John. Fur displacement test. The creator of Meow Meow I Am a Cat is back, but this video would come out before that, and just like its later counterpart would be some nice electronic music, but weird 3D animated cats with some filters pulled over it. Munit the fish hood. This would be a video that would come back in 2016 by Rap Boy Genius, and it would actually show 3 fish swimming in outer space singing a very nice melody. It seems as though Rap Boy Genius is just a musical artist and just uses these 3D videos to make songs into visual mediums. I don't know. Apparently he likes to put his weird music with weird visual. Christoph Archive. These are videos that can only be found on the Internet Archive. So I might have to do another video, and I know I always say these in videos, but genuinely I might have to do another deep diving into his account, because he did have a YouTube for a certain time. He had a lot of other accounts for a certain time, but they've all either been inactive or just flat out deleted, and you can only find his videos on the Internet Archive. These would be live action, 3D animated, and edits of shows and cartoons, and that's really all I can explain right now. Again, it's just weird, like genuinely, that you can't find on YouTube anymore. Odd videos, odd animations, just this whole archive is odd. EE444565.
The most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. Planet Earth.
So this odd video would come out in 2010, and it would just be odd. You know, they would use footage from multiple different places, and even so far as to where a Redditor came in and literally timestamped where each clip was from. And that wouldn't even be the strangest part. The strangest part is that they would actually be using a distorted version of a leader of the Heaven's Gate cult. I instantly thought this was an ARG, which would make sense because it came out in 2010, but the channel released nothing ever since that video. So I'm pretty sure it's an ARG, but I genuinely am starting to not even believe that, because it's just genuinely weird. Wiggle it.
Wiggle it, come on, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it. Hey, wiggle it, come on, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle it, wiggle.
Now this would be a video released back in 2013 by Cuckoo. This was just a big relief from the last 2 entries, because it was literally just a group of adults who, every single one of them looks like an offender and looks like they're on some sort of list, and they would just be dancing to this kid's song, and it's just genuinely hilarious. Free bleeding. I haven't done this at any point on this Iceberg, but genuinely there was a certain point where I just had to stop looking for the video, because if you don't actually know what the meaning of free bleeding is, it's a menstrual thing. I'm pretty sure whatever video I would have ended up finding wouldn't have been something that I could unsee. I love Jesus. Now this would be a 2D animation from Treats for Beast, released back in 2011. Actually, weirdly enough, watching it the first time, I didn't think it meant anything until you actually really examine it, and you realize that each of the groups of people are meant to show people of, like, the Christian Catholic belief. So like, you got the old woman who claims to have met Jesus, then you got the 2 people whispering about the lengths they'd go for Jesus, and then you have like Jesus himself showing the religion and how it's been completely torn apart by these groups, just claiming to everything, when honestly the religion is just supposed to be bringing people together, but it's separating them so far apart, with each one saying different things. And it would be the end of layer 8. So as I said, again, we're gonna throw in layer 9 in here, just because again there's like 5 entries. So let's just round out this and let's get into layer 9. So again, as I said, layer 9, very short. Rabies on a human. This is another one that I can't show on YouTube, A, because the original video is age restricted, and B, I genuinely just don't want to show it on YouTube, because basically it was a medical video showing humans who got attacked by an animal that had rabies, and basically the video be showing these men going through the symptoms of rabies, and then by the end of the video would die. Like, legitimately, they would just be filmed dead. Like, again, it's basically a video showing a person dying of rabies and how deadly this virus is. Link most of the videos in the link in the description, but this is genuinely one that I can't put in the link, even though it is a YouTube link. I just can't, because again, it's against TOS. Rabies is just such a deadly virus, and most people don't understand how deadly rabies actually is. But by God, if you understand the symptoms, it is a terrifying disease. SIGYGIS. This is just a clip from an old 89 film called Begotten. I understand why this is down here, but honestly, so the funny thing would be, without any context, yes, this clip is creepy. Yes, this clip is weird. But when you actually know what the film is, you wouldn't find it scary. Because, so, the funny thing would be, and I'm actually going to link down in the description where I would actually find this review, but Mr. Gigi actually did a review of Begotten, and the funny thing is his reaction is like everyone else's. The film is just incredibly boring and incredibly mind-stakingly annoying to listen to, but again would just be creepy just because of how low quality it would be in the audio and the black and white. But that's it. It's beyond that, it's just a boring movie and tutorial videos.
Today we're gonna do a drink video. I got 4 cups, 4 white cups. I'm gonna do a taste test. I'm gonna taste the cup.
Now, this would be a YouTube channel that would show a man making these strange tutorial videos. It would actually be found out that just like How To Basics earlier on in the Iceberg, it would actually be a satire of the abundance of tutorials. Except for, instead of How To Basic, Island Tutorials was actually like an ARG, where there was an actual narrative being put out between every single video. And this would actually be created by a man named Alex Riss, and of course he would create these videos as a satire of the tutorial genre. 1A51 COD videos. What this would be a playlist of every single video on the Iceberg, plus some I've never seen, or they would just be edited videos of videos that were previously on this Iceberg. And then finally, for our last entry, lost and deleted YouTube videos, weird videos. So obviously we had to end all these because obviously Iceberg isn't going to cover every single video. I mean, there's millions of videos released every single day. It is even impossible to make an Iceberg without constantly updating it every single week. It would just be impossible to cover every single one on the Iceberg. It just encapsulates everything the Iceberg couldn't. And it actually goes with our comment question for this series. Again, in the comments down below, I've been asking you guys every single week to comment down below what the weirdest videos you've seen on YouTube have been. And I'll make a video at the end of the week. Every single minute, every single hour, every single day, every single week, every single month, every single year. There are millions of these weird videos, and most of them just fall through the cracks. This entry just encapsulates everything that the Iceberg couldn't cover. This would be it. Again, we've made it through the Iceberg. Pretty freeing. I have seen much longer version of this that I might cover in a future video. But genuinely, again, I love doing this. I've been watching YouTube for years now. Most of these videos, again, it was just a blast of the past to react to them again for the video, and I've just, genuinely enjoyed this Iceberg. Again, I hope you guys have enjoyed the Iceberg as much as I have. But yeah, if you guys have been enjoying this series, please give the video a like, subscribe. The question for this series has been, what is the weirdest videos you have seen on YouTube? Again, as I said, next week's video, we'll be reacting to almost every single one of you guys' comments. But again, if you like the video, subscribe, click that like button. Thank you guys for watching the Iceberg. I genuinely enjoy making these videos. Thank you guys for watching this whole entire series. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching it as much as I have enjoyed creating it. And thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week, great rest of your day. Thank you, and good night.